Hello. Welcome back to War Tomb Pods. How are you doing? I'm John once again with Tom in the office. How are you doing?
Hello. You all right?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm going to say that again. Welcome back to War Tomb Pods.
Start again.
Welcome back to War Tomb Pods. I hate the intros. We are going to flip a coin each week. But it's been a little while. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm all right, yeah. Yeah, been a while. You okay?
Yeah. Starting to panic at how quickly these podcasts become out of date.
Yeah. Literally, like the last one we did, about an hour later, I was texting you about Sandro Tonali.
Yeah. The first text was Sandro Tonali may be in a betting scandal. Awesome. That was a panicked few. I mean, nothing. Have you heard anything more about that? That was just something that was said.
That was literally that one day. I think there was something mentioned, but then it was quickly downplayed, saying it was all to do with the original investigation or something. So, yeah, I've heard nothing else. So I'm hoping it's nothing.
I got to be honest. I hope he's grassing on all of them.
I hope he's dragging everyone down with him. Like,
I hope the whole of Serie A gets a fucking ban after what we had to put up with not happen.
Yeah. So that was.
So that was minute one after our last podcast, and then it turns out after we jokingly said Eddie Howe's ill, he got hospitalised. That was a worry.
Nearly died.
Fucking pneumonia.
Couldn't make it up.
Unbelievable. So we do have, as you can imagine, an awful lot to catch up with this week. But just as how was your holidays? Anyway,
good, eh? Nice little breakaway in the sun. Got yourself burnt. Typical Brit abroad. Back now though. Good to be home. Almost.
Yeah, it's back to reality after a few days. You had that hot weather just to ease you in there.
Yeah. Nah, it's going to be back.
Okay. So let's. We do have an awful lot to catch up on there. We'll be brief on the games, obviously everyone knows about. But so the last game we've played as of recording is Ipswich at home, St James's Park, 3 p.m. kickoff. So did you get to watch it out there live?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
What, were you in a bar or your phone or?
Saying a Brit abroad, obviously in the bar. Yeah, I watched it.
Was that your moment as a parent where you're like, it's your turn with the kids, I get to watch the match?
Yeah. Nah, they were happy playing, so it was 3. Yeah, it was 3 o'clock kickoff, and it was 5 o'clock out there, so it was a bit later. But I watched it. What do you
think? No complaints. You can't really have too much complaints at that. Great to see Eddie back.
Yeah. I was quite surprised, actually. I thought, well, obviously, I mean, we don't know how he was feeling and stuff with it being hospitalised all the week before. Seemed to be quite quick on coming back.
It's just the character of a man. He's fucking...
Yeah. I loved how in the press conference saying, well, I'm not 100%. And then I think it was Dan Byrne had done a bit on saying, he said he's going to be back, but don't expect too much shouting and bawling. He might just be observing. And then 2 minutes later, he stopped the session straight away and started shouting and bawling at everyone. He obviously couldn't wait to be back.
Telling Asula to stop dancing. So it was that Ipswich was as routine a game as you can hope for, which it's... I mean, even look at the start of the season, Southampton, we were down to 10 men, but it wasn't like these guys don't stand a chance.
Yeah, it needed to be, though. Like, of the 5 fixtures remaining, we were looking at that one for the Champions League push and thinking, like, we have to win. This is what, like, don't do it old Newcastle, if you like, and mess it up like we used to do or have done before. But that was pretty routine, I think. Was a bit nervy the first, 20 minutes or so. Ipswich tried to... Well, they didn't try to play much, I don't think. They tried to frustrate in there and just there's a few occasions, hitting on the brake a little bit, trying to soak with the pressure a bit, trying to fall on the floor, the slightest little thing to try and break up our play. Yeah, it was pretty routine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird one because they had some chances. Some of us we created for them. Like, there was that one pass across the box from Dan Byrne. I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah, that was a bit bit touchy, that one. I was panicking slightly.
But the first thing, I think it was before the red, would have been Bruno's disallowed goal. I thought, this might not be our day, because we had a couple of shaky moments at the back, and then I didn't think it would count when it happened. Did you think VAR would allow it?
Initially, no, because but then when I watched it again, I was thinking, how can it not be allowed? Because it's almost like the Palace game. Was that last season?
No, two
seasons ago, where because he pushed Bruno and almost pushed him into the keeper. He doesn't. If you watch Bruno's movement, he doesn't actually move apart from being pushed. So I don't understand how it can't be allowed, but luckily it didn't matter in the end anyway. But I was, like you say, a little bit worried when we didn't get it, thinking, is it going to be one of those days?
I hate that you brought that. I'm still annoyed by that Palace game. Joe Willock's clearly just launched into their goalkeeper and they're like, foul. It's like he was fouled. It's a penalty or a goal.
It's one or the other. You can't push someone over and then claim that they've, yeah. But I don't know. It doesn't matter now, like we say, but at the time I was really annoyed, thinking I can't understand how that isn't allowed. The keeper didn't appeal for me as well. So the keeper sat there and didn't appeal. So that showed me that he thought he wasn't fouled.
Do you know, it was around that time, and I think a few minutes before, a few things had happened where their centre-back and their goalkeeper are arguing like shit. And when you see that, you're like, get in, go on, implode.
Yeah, go on, fight each other.
But for me, I thought it was going to be like one of the cut-offs for the handball rule, because it hit the peak of his shoulder, I think, and went in. I thought, does that count as the arm? You can't score with any part of the arm or immediately after a touch.
Yeah.
I thought it might be that.
Initially, I thought it came off his back, but I suppose it was kind of his shoulder back type of thing, wasn't it? But thankfully, it didn't matter anyway. But it was a bit of a. But still, the referee was poor, I think, anyway. Some of the decisions were a bit odd.
VAR as well.
Well, yeah, I suppose I'm including VAR with it as well.
There was a moment where that bloody Enciso put his elbow through Tonali's face, like intentionally, and it's not pulled up on violent conduct. And if you look at, like, say, I don't know, the Man U game when that Bournemouth striker gets sent off, and like VAR's like, no, that's a dangerous challenge, when it's now been rescinded because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that. Never got looked at that Tonali one. Luckily, he was fine anyway, so didn't, like I say, it wasn't that he went. I mean, it's almost like he needed to be injured at that point for it to be looked at. The fact he didn't really make that much of it, I suppose, maybe didn't benefit him. But again, I think the referee and VAR was terrible. But thankfully, it didn't matter.
Yeah, Willock. Did you see when Willock just got wrestled to the ground?
There was a couple of times they had a little bit of a argy-bargy, if you like, or whatever it was. But that, I'm sure that Morsey's been yellow carded about 15 times this season.
Yeah, he was just I guess they're trying to get into our heads. And when we were the shithouse mags, before we're kind of developing into the beautiful magpies that we are now, when we play a team we like playing against.
Yeah. But I mean, on about Tonali though, how he was class again at the weekend, like, unbelievable. He's just so good.
I love him. I love Isak. I do. I think he's the best striker in the world, but I think we can get another guy to score quite a lot of those goals. I don't think you find a Tonali too easily.
I just think this season he's just stepped in, especially when he's moved into 6, and it's just been like incredible. Like, he's just made that team tick so much better. And that isn't anything on Bruno, because I think Bruno's probably better as an 8. But I just think that's allowed Bruno to be maybe even more expansive being as an 8, but then as Tonali as a 6. It's just like created, I don't know, it's just like it's opened up all sorts for the team. I think it's the way he plays, so expansive, but then so easy on the ball. He's just class. Just class.
How exciting is it when the ball rolls from outside the box?
Oh, like, no. I nearly jumped up before and even went in and hit the bar, and I was like, man. I just want him to score screamers every time he gets the ball.
Every time that a loose ball rolls to him, it's like, oh, good. And it's been a while. We haven't had someone thundering them from outside the box for a little bit of time now.
Yeah.
I mean, Shelby maybe's got a couple from outside the box.
Yeah.
Shaw.
Shaw.
But we don't have many Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard-esque shooters where like some magic could happen here. And I love that from a deep lying playmaker. I think it's a great weapon to have.
Yeah. No, he was incredible again. Tell you who else as well, Trippier.
Ideal for games like that.
He seems to be almost, I want to say, getting better, but he's back to what he was when we first signed him. He's been incredible the last 3 months, 4 months when he's come back in.
Yeah. But when we've got them pinned down, and he's got the value, like tactically he's brilliant on the overlap, and his quality of crossing when it comes in is excellent. So yeah, it's ideal when they're. I mean, bless them after that red card, which do you think deserved?
I suppose by the book, yeah, it was deserved. It's just stupid though, wasn't it, for the second yellow? Like, I suppose the referee could have allowed it, but by the book, it is a yellow card, isn't it? It's just stupid. I almost felt sorry for them, but like, I mean, I was happy, but it's just daft.
There's a great clip on, I caught it on Match of the Day. Me and Alice were laughing at it. It's because the angle of that red card in the corner, you see, do you know the exit at St James's when you go out pitch side? Yeah. You see the St John's ambulance men lined up, and there's a St John's ambulance guy giving them the V's and cheering. He gets sent off. I just thought that was fucking excellent.
Yeah. I thought actually the first yellow, I thought it was Bernard fouled him all day long initially, like, and then I think it was still hard to see on the replay. So maybe that was harsh, I suppose. But if you want a yellow for that, then you shouldn't be. He's trying to pull his act back. It's just daft.
But the guys even said it on the penalty, which we'll get to in a sec. But you've just got to have faith your defenders have got your back.
Yeah.
Track back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Isaac's he's in a crossing position at best. He's not in the box. Why would you hug him?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was wanting to cut inside and curl one at the top corner, like, but I expect the world from Isaac all the time.
But there was 4 players in the way. They were like all on the line.
Yeah. Again, I see it was just stupid. It's one of them where you didn't have the players just like, I can't be asked. I'm just going to get myself sent off here.
There was, and then thankfully we got that penalty, which I thought was one of the weaker ones. I assumed he must have clipped his heels in CISO, because to have pulled his arm back that little, and the way Murphy went down, I didn't see that being given.
No, the only thing I said at the time was I don't understand why he would go down, because he was in a perfect opportunity. He was in. He would most likely, you would think he would have crossed it, but he had plenty of space, time. There was no need for him to go down. Really, it's the only thing I thought was he must have been clipped if he's gone down, because it would be soft. I'll be annoyed if we didn't get it, and he was deemed to have dived, and he hadn't just went on. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was. I
thought our reaction, the players going to the refs, which they need to do in these games. They need to force that thing. But I when he went to the monitor, I thought he may actually back his own decision.
I know. I wasn't convinced. Like until he'd give it, I wasn't sure. Like I say, the only thing I was going off mainly was that I don't understand why he would go down if he wasn't clipped. I would have thought he would have stayed on his feet.
I mean, you see Big Dan Burn being wrestled in the box by Delap and not getting penalties, and then a pullback on the arm when he was still in motion.
Yeah.
But
the penalty wasn't that great, I don't think. I mean, obviously it went in, but it was like, I was panicking a bit because it was just before that the ball came over and he like half volleyed it. And I don't know if he just totally misjudged it, but he kind of like
shanked it into the ground.
And I was thinking a bit unlike him, so I was getting a bit panicky, thinking like,
well, he likes a clever finish, doesn't he? And like to volley it into the ground is going to throw the keeper off, but it's just not clicked for him. Like he had one shot that didn't even go out of play. It went out to it looked like a Tonali diagonal ball in the end to Murphy on the wing or Trips on the wing.
Yeah, I remember that one, I'm glad he got a goal though, because then at least it's another goal and then confidence up, because I think he hadn't scored in the last few games or something. But anyway, I think if anything, he's not the type of player to not score for a while, I don't think, because he's got that penalty. I'd still back him to score a few more before the end of the season. Like,
I'm not putting Wilson.
God no. And, again on Trippier, like that Trippier's cross for Burns goal was good as well. Good link up play, but again, I think Ipswich by that point were just like, just get this game over. Yeah,
I was a little concerned the fact that because you see the narrative in your mind of them going, and Ipswich survive for another day.
I know exactly. That's what I was panicking. I was. And then when there were a couple of them decisions that didn't go our way, I thought, oh God, that's just my old Newcastle mentality, which I can't shake.
You can't, can you? It's ingrained in us. It's just panic, always panic. Even when Bruno had that little bicycle kick.
Yeah,
and it was it was so gentle. It would have went in, but it was a great header off the line. But I'm like, this is too many chances we haven't converted. But yeah, we just controlled that game.
Totally. Yeah. I almost got the goal before half time. Especially, I was thinking that's done now. Like it's done.
I love that header from Big Dan Burn. That is my
running through a crowd of people.
It's funny on the. What's it called? Everything's Black and White podcast. They do a view from the opposition, and they got an Ipswich podcaster on to talk about Ipswich's chances up there. And they're like, since they're promoted back to back to back, which is an incredible feat. But no one's seen, like, McKenna turned down, I think, the Spurs job and may have been in the run for the Man U job as well.
He was linked with jobs last summer, wasn't he, when they come up, yeah?
Because he's hailed as being awesome, which I'm sure he will be.
Yeah.
But the team they have, they're like, when we go and watch Premier League games right now, we can't believe the size and speed of everyone. Like, we look at Saka and he's bigger than our fullbacks.
Yeah.
Like, and it's right, because I remember thinking that when the year we had the takeover and I'm watching Spurs v Crystal Palace and I thought these guys look like beasts compared to what we've got.
Yeah.
And then when you see Dan Burn run for clear run on goal, like, no, he's above the crossbar.
Nice.
When he does his initials.
This is like a horse, isn't he?
It's unguardable. I absolutely love an unguardable moment. Like, if Andy Carroll with Peter Crouch's height, you know what I mean? Andy Carroll in his peak when we had that 3 months for us and he went to Liverpool. Yeah. When you're like, there was a game we played against Liverpool. I think he got a hat-trick against Liverpool or a couple of goals. And he leapt up and chested the ball. And their centre-backs are at his hip. Yeah. Because they haven't left the ground yet. But I'm like, you can't actually guard that. That's an intangible. That is fucking incredible.
Yeah. I was surprised it was Burn's first goal of the season, actually, in the Premier League. I didn't realise it. I was sure he'd scored before. It reminded us of the PSG one, the way he just barged through. And he's like, nobody's stopping me here. I'm headering this.
Yeah. I love that.
It's class. It's fair. Asula, I thought his header was awesome. The way he managed to, because it was looked like it was going past him, though he managed to arch his back and kind of almost get behind it to loop it back over again. Class finish.
Low key starting to get very excited. Will Asula.
Yeah. I think right hand side, he keeps coming on. I think he looks good. I just keep hoping it's going to have this like Lewis Hall effect next season. He's some sort of like absolutely awesome right winger next year.
I'm trying to look back at what Eddie was saying about Lewis Hall last year, saying he's good in training and blah, blah, blah. And then he came on, he was just incredible this year. Like, I'm watching Asula, and he is erratic, but there is something a little bit electric about him. I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. They wouldn't have bought him, and they wouldn't have invested all this like time and effort into him if they didn't think he had something. So they must see something in him and think like he could be good.
I think he could, because he's rapid.
Yeah.
He's got skill, because he did have that cut in and he accidentally hit Bruno with the shot. That looked like it was, I mean, it's because I like the look of him. But I'm thinking that could have been another one he had scored.
I like him. I think he'll probably get quite a few minutes before the end of the season. I think he's maybe has been working a lot in the background over the course of the season, coaching-wise, and learning the position and stuff like that, especially to see him as a right-hand side player. So
there's a lot of defensive that you've got to learn if you're going to play that right-hand side.
Yeah, so I think from now towards the end of the season, I think we could see him quite a lot, actually, hopefully in preparation for next season.
My brother was at the game. He says the guy next to him made like the whole stand laugh, because when Gordon was warming up and he's like doing a sprint across the thing, it's so fucking silly. But Gordon, because he's like right down in that corner where the St. John's ambulance guy was, he's like bang on the corner flag. And Gordon sprints past and the guy next to him goes, meow. But I thought he looked determined and lively coming on.
It's good to see, isn't it?
Like, he was dragging it up. He's like, I need to make something happen to get back into this team. And that's essential for this part of the season.
Yeah. But again, I think we've said it before, it helps though, doesn't it? If you're winning games and doing well, won the cup. It's beyond the point now where we used to worry about if you weren't playing someone, they're just going, oh, we're going somewhere else then. Like, people are going to want to stay now and want to fight for the place because where they're going to go. Like, Gordon, I don't think is going to go to Liverpool, Man City, or anybody else, is he? I think he just wants to fight for his place and stay, and know that he needs to fight for his place. He needs to play well to play, because we're no longer a team that is bottom half of the table. Same with a few of them. Murphy, he's again played well at the weekend, played out his skin this season. But whether it's a Sula or whether we'll buy a right winger, and Buemo, maybe someone like that.
Maybe, hopefully.
Love his beard. I think it's just, again, Murphy will either play out his skin and have another season like he's had, which is good, or Buemo comes in, or someone equivalent, and then that's good.
I've got a suggestion on who we're going to get, and it's going to send the fan base in an uproar.
Go on then.
Josh Murphy.
God. You can't tell the difference.
They've got the exact same stats for the season. Like he's combined 18 goals and assists in the Championship. Murphy's the same in the Premier League. And if Murphy's doing well and you want a like for like, there is actually a like for like.
Are we sure they're not the same person? Has anyone clarified that they played at the same time and the same day? Is it not just the same lad?
That was a funny, it's Frank Chipper, I think it is, one of the funny NUFC accounts. He always winds up the oppositions of who we're playing. He's fucking class. But he posted like that Josh and Jacob Murphy have never actually played on the same day.
I see. That could be it.
But you can imagine the start of the season of that two. We've got Murphy's on each wing.
The Murphys are taking over. But I think it was a win. It was a good win. I said before that game, if we win our 3 home games, we should be good enough for Champions League. So, although I want to win this weekend.
We'll get to Brighton later on the show. I've got some trepidation on that one, so I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to catch up briefly on the games we've missed. Welcome to Radio Rick.
And we're back.
Okay. Just because of OCD and my chronology, we do have to look back on the games that we've missed over the last 3 weeks. And I've had to football moves so fast. I had to go back and even moments I truly enjoyed, I've had to re-look up what had happened in them. So we're going to start off with the Manchester United game. Were you in the country for the Man U game?
Yes, I watched that one. Yeah, I was there. Aye, class.
It is fucking mint to beat Manchester United.
Oh, God. Again, before that one, I keep saying it, like the old Newcastle type of worry because it's Man U and thinking, they'll probably pull a performance out or afterwards slated Hammer Room and everything else on the last pod. But now they're shite. Honestly, like they're terrible, Man U. I think he's terrible. So we were class.
It was, that would just be our look. If you look at, if in episode 1, we were talking about Tonali's goal from the corner flag, and how if Jacob Murphy attempted that, we would never believe he meant it. And then a week later, which we'll get to when we get to the Palace match, Jacob Murphy definitely fucking meant it.
Exactly, yeah.
So hold our hands up on that one, Murph.
Yeah, we called it.
But for me, it's when they do, again, it's always the narrative, particularly when it's Man United, it's always the narrative of they've changed the goalkeeper. He's going to play out of his skin to keep his place in the team, and they don't have Butterfingers Onana anymore. And they also played, I want to say, like the England under-18s captain as a fullback.
Yeah, I forgot his name now. Yeah, I know. I thought the same. I was like, oh, great, another job's Onana because we've been slating him. But it turns out, I don't know where that keeper came from, the other one. I don't know. I'd seen him on the bench a few times, and I think he might have played some cup games, but
he had a good penalty shootout in a cup game.
I don't know where they got him from, but he wasn't that much better, really, was he? But to be fair, I think we played really well, though. It wasn't just Man U were poor again, but we just made them look poor as well for being good.
Yeah, I thought we looked great from the off on that one. The one moment that worried me was it was an exchange between, it was a pass and a back heel and a pass back between Bruno Fernandes and Xerxes. Mm-hmm. And that looked... Oh my God, they've clicked. Oh no, they've clicked. They've clicked against us. This is just our look.
I know. It looked... When I watched it back, though, it didn't even look like the minute. It was like, and it's like kind of passed it into each other, like, no, you have it. And then it kind of like ended up at his feet, and then it didn't look very like...
I would love if he didn't mean that back heel. Like, fuck.
That's what it kind of looked like, though. It was like, what is it there? Oh, it's gone to him. Oh, come back.
Of course, the commentator almost jumped out of his booth for that one.
It sickens us. That's another reason why I love to batter Man U like that, because I just can't stand the loving. I hate it. It's just every time it's like, they're going to come back and be brilliant again, and then you just see the whole like story of, Man U's back, they beat Newcastle, but no, they didn't. They were shit.
I hate the fact they're going to slither into the Champions League.
Nah, they're not.
They don't deserve it. Do you not see the score last night?
Yeah, I did, but hopefully they won.
In every leg, they've had a player sent off playing against them.
Have they?
Every match they've played, someone on the other team's got sent off in one of the legs.
Yeah, that's probably another talking point, but yeah. I hope they don't sneak into the Champions League. Like.
So first up, we had we saw we were on it. We were hunting them down.
Yeah,
they really crowded. They had Xerxes at right back doing build-up play and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was ridiculous how much pinned back they were. And then the first goal fired into Isak, lobbed over to Tonali. It's just that movement, the motion of it.
Unbelievable. That settled me nerves when we scored that. I was like, we're so good. It was just brilliant.
We've already said it on this. I think we said it on every episode. Sandro Tonali, man, is. I now think he's that good that he only celebrates because he knows it's good for the crowd and it'll help the team.
Yeah.
He's just about business. He's just about dominating the field. He's incredible.
He's just class. He's just unbelievable. I forgot how young he is as well. He's only 24. I think he's just turned 24 as well. And like when you think of like Bruno, is 27 or 28 or something. It's quite a big difference really in football in terms, especially like for how long they've been playing like top level. And Tonali's got years still of like, he could be hopefully at Newcastle for like years and just like such like a linchpin for basically everything we could do in the next few years. Hopefully Isak as well.
He was like nailed on to be Milan's future captain. Like it's incredible we got him.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Sorry, I was just going to say he could be our captain if Bruno did go, or if anything, maybe it's in a few years' time. Looks that sort of player, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's an on-field captain in terms of his character. I don't know what he's like for shouting and yelling in English yet, but it's in the final. He's class. But then that goal towards the end of the half when Garnacho went through and slid in, he's doing a stupid fucking celebration and
bit undeserved, wasn't it? But lapse in concentration hit us on the break. Yeah, because it was just before half time. I was thinking, I hope our heads don't drop or anything, but we're in total control, I thought. So it didn't need to. We didn't need to panic, and obviously we didn't. Just, I think if anything, it kind of spurred us on a little bit more, maybe.
It did, but it was one of those moments where I thought, are we going to really miss Eddie Howe? Going back into the changing room because we don't know who normally does those talks or whether or not it's Eddie entirely led or if it's inspired by the coaching staff and a group collective decision on how they go about it.
Yeah.
This was Jason Tyndall and fair play. He's done a fucking bang up job.
It did, yeah. I mean, it's probably, well, they always say, don't they? Like a great leader. Like it's a testament for when they're not there for how good everything is and how well everything runs. So obviously they must have like everything in place for not a scenario where he's not there, but just it must just be so routine and drilled that like they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I had the same kind of worries, but Mad Dog had it all in control, didn't he?
Yeah, then we got the next goal. It was Tino Livramento whipped them on the wing. I thought he was top notch in most of these games, to be fair. I thought he was absolutely class. Yeah. Knocked it across. Great cutback from Murphy, and then Barnes just floated in unmarked.
Yeah. Knocked
it in, but another great team goal. Yeah.
Barnes just, I haven't really spoken about Barnes that much, to be fair. He's been brilliant since he's come in. Like talk about like taking an opportunity. Because Gordon wasn't brilliant either before that sending off. I don't think he had a few games where he wasn't really, I don't know, maybe he was injured or just wasn't really at it, but he didn't seem great.
I think there's teams he plays, styles of teams he does better against. But in terms of, because he just creates and generates chances. Do you know what I mean? He's chaos, he's lightning fast, but his finishing sometime, we got the Villa game on Boxing Day when he can whip it in the top corner, but there's an awful lot where he doesn't.
Yeah. I think, Barnes has done brilliant. It's difficult as well because when he was coming on for cameos at the end of games when Gordon had been starting, it's difficult for him to get into it. Like we've spoke before, but when like the game's dead and stuff as well, it's even harder. But when he's been starting games, I can't remember how many he's scored. He's our second highest goal scorer this season.
Yeah, his record's really, really good, but that's what he is. That's
he's so direct. I really like it. I really wish, I mean, seeing that Murphy's playing really well. I was going to say the idea of having like Gordon on the right or something instead, but to be honest, the way they are at the minute, you can't really get Gordon in.
It's nice to have a sub that you go like he can change.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then the next one's a great goal as well because this is when we just had them. There was a wonderful moment after that second goal where it looked like Man U imploded.
Yeah.
They knew they weren't They had no beating of us anywhere in the field. They looked out of ideas, and we were just hunting them down to basically entertain the crowd, which is what Newcastle is.
I love that. I love when we're getting that sort of mood and we're just snapping at the heels and that. And it was, I love it. That was Barnes' goal, wasn't it? The second one, I think.
The second
he won the ball back and then just ran straight through the middle of them. It was such a good finish as well. Like, it wasn't even an easy finish.
Yeah,
I was
top corner.
Yeah, brilliant. These.
But it's one of those ones where it was brilliant for Man U player slips. That's always funny.
Yeah.
I was worried the ref was going to pull up on it because it's a Man U player slipping over. Like, not too dissimilar to the Ipswich goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? They're well protected.
Yeah.
But from the run in the middle between the centre backs, like in a kids' movie, running away from henchmen and they jump into each other. Do you know what I mean? Like. And then ping it in the top corner. That was class. And then my favourite fucking goal is that goalkeeper they brought in because the other one makes mistakes, tries to dink it, and Joe Linton just like doesn't even see it coming. Really, it's that coming that quick, and just angles his head towards Bruno, and Bruno was unmarked in the box.
I know. I think he tried a couple of times as well, didn't he? And didn't really get away with it, and he just carried on. He was just like talking about like creating your own downfall. I was battered them. It's always good to batter Man U.
Just got too many memories. Like, there was the one where it's the famous clip of Rooney talking to the ref and then he goes and smashes it in the volley.
Yeah.
He always had great games against Newcastle, like the 6-2 defeats, and I FaceTimed me Man U mate the time that we drew 1-1. That was when Joe Linton was really just coming into his own as a midfielder, second or third game. And that was frustrating. We didn't win that, but since that, and obviously the League Cup final, I just love beating them. There's not a team I'd rather beat Man U than. It's been a while since we've been beaten by Sunderland, to be fair. Yeah. But to me, seeing Newcastle not just win, but make Man U quit on the hour mark.
Exactly. That's the thing. I was at the minute, especially this part of the season, I would take a win for like anything. If we just get wins, that's fine. But the way we played and just totally dismantled them was just brilliant.
There's another big thing, another huge. It's when St James's Park is up for it as well, and they're always going to be up for Man U. It's why you look forward to those games.
Yeah, exactly. Sunday afternoon, everyone's still pissed from Saturday. They've had a few more to top off.
but that's something I was going to get to as a theory, because I'm constantly thinking of the PSR and how it works, right? So one of the things is if we get a bigger stadium, we get more match day revenue. That goes into the kitty, right? So by that, and the money from the stack, that's club owned, so that goes into it. Is there a way that, I don't know, someone from Saudi Arabia comes in and goes, I'd like to buy everyone 5 drinks? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, how many? 75? I'm just going to do some quick maths.
You do that because I can't do it.
Oh, I'm going to edit it so I look like a fucking genius. Not someone who can't find the calculator on his phone because he doesn't do maths. Utilities, right. So what's our capacity currently?
Well, just say 53. It's like 52 something, isn't it?
Right. So 52,000. And how much would you say a pint costs? It's in James's, give or take.
350
times 3.5. All right. And I said 5 pints. Yeah, that's an extra 950,000 each day on a match day.
No?
Just I'm saying, is that something they can check on, stop us, or deduct points for? If someone comes in and be like, "Hey, listen, came from abroad, took a local guy's season ticket, took a local guy's ticket to be here. I would just like to thank everyone and give you 5 points each. Enjoy the fucking match, lads." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder. It's a good theory, like.
If Chelsea are getting away with what they're going, I mean, you got people over Christmas in Stack trying to drink themselves to death to get a new right winger.
I just think it's like, if Newcastle try and do anything, they'll probably come down to Newcastle like a ton of bricks and be like, "Oh, I can't do that. It's Saudi led and all this, that, and the other." And
well, even if it wasn't Saudi led, right? If they were just more, because I think we have a fan base due to the wanting the takeover to go through and the things we've been through together as Mike Ashley, and like understanding the club puts in all the money they feasibly can into it. That's one of the huge differences since the takeover, is whatever we make we are going to spend. It's not like if we sold Maxi for 20 and we'll buy 3 players for 4 million to hopefully get another 20 million pound player to sell eventually, like what Mike Ashley would. So if we mobilise the fans and be like, listen, if you went into Stack and give them 50 quid, and I mean all of yous, I mean everyone who turned up on the Town Moor, would you pay 50 quid to have a new right winger?
Everyone would.
I think you possibly could. I think we should start a just giving, which is mental because we are the richest club in the world, and the rules the Premier League has put in place now makes it so the fans have to pay more for their success, which has never been the case in fucking football history in the past.
But I think
we'd do it. Like for Christmas. The kids go, what do you want for Christmas? I want you to give our PSR fund 200 quid. Not above us. That does put pressure on Paul Mitchell to make the right decision. If they get Dominic Calvert-Lewin instead of me getting a PlayStation 5. Anyway, food for thought. I'm going to come up with more PSR theories because there are clearly loopholes to get around it.
I feel like they're probably exploring every loophole they can. Well, you'd like to think, but
I'm going to clip this and send it to Saudi Arabia and see what they think. All right, just going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the Palace and Villa match. All right, so moving on past Man U, the game that I was actually worried about of this 3-game week was Palace.
Yeah.
I think it would have been last season, and we had a tough one, the away fixture. It wasn't a fun game to watch, but last season they ripped us apart. It was when Elise was in the ascendancy. They were undefeated for fuck knows how long. But yeah, so I was nervy on this. I think Palace have a good team.
Yeah, they do. I really like Palace actually at the minute. I think their away record's really good as well, isn't it? I think they'd been beaten by Man City the weekend before they came to us, but it was about 2-1. It was quite close. Yeah, I was the same.
No, they got hammered.
Was it? Hammered in the end, were they?
They went 2-1 up.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, sorry. Went 2-1 up and got beat for 5-2 in the end. That's right, aye.
But people just aren't talking about Man City because they're like third, fourth. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's City. They're still brilliant when they want to be. Like, they ripped us apart.
Yeah. Yeah. But Palace are a good team. I think the way we played it, because we got at them so early again, a bit like the Man U game, we made them look poor. Well, not poor, but they didn't look as good as they can be. I think their penalty miss was a big telling on that, because that was an awful, awful penalty. Do you think it was a penalty, though?
If again, I have to be honest and say, if it was against Newcastle, I want it.
Yeah.
But the ref didn't say at the time. None of their players were appealing, which I know some people say, like, if you watch the players now, but I don't like that because that just encourages you to appeal everything.
Yeah.
And that becomes contentious. But maybe it was a bit clumsy. I think Joe Linton took the ball just out of his path.
Yeah.
Because he would have got the ball and the player, and that would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Onana against Wolves punched the player in the face instead of the ball. I don't think that was given. It might have been given after VAR.
No, I don't think it was given, was it?
We'll have to check that, but I remember that and thinking, that's ridiculous. That should be a pen.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we talk about keepers being protected a lot, don't we? And obviously the Ipswich game where the goal was ruled out for nothing. I thought it was clumsy, to be honest. I can kind of understand why it was given. Like I say, I'd probably be calling for it if it was the other way around.
I like him commanding this area. I like him coming out for crosses and stuff like that. I like him that more than he runs out and kicking the ball.
Yeah. I think he misjudged it slightly. I think Joe Linton got in the way a bit, didn't he? But yeah, terrible, terrible penalty anyway.
Oh, that was... And they had that stat for it. He never misses because he's got that stutter step. So he's done his homework.
Aye. Oh, because he stood up, didn't he? Pope didn't go. Tried to feint one way to see where he was going to go. It was really good goalkeeping, actually.
Yeah, it was that little fake dive was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. We don't want to... actually, I've skipped ahead, though, haven't I? We missed out the most important thing.
We missed out the most important thing, which is Jacob Murphy proving War Tomb Pods wrong, and long may that continue.
Yeah. It was... he definitely meant it. Good goal. Incredible. I couldn't believe when it went in.
Unbelievable. See, this was another fun evening game. So I got the projector up with the Ben on the bed trying to get her to sleep. She did not go down at all. This one, she was up for extra time after that one. But I could. There was Murphy's goal was mint. I love when he puts his foot through it. He does have the technical ability.
Yeah, he does. He's got a canny shot on him, hasn't he? He scored a few of them from outside the box. Like, well, not that type of goal, but a few from outside the box. Yeah, it was a cracking goal. I wonder if it went through his mind because of Tonali's goal, or if he just went for it anyway. I don't know if Tonali hadn't scored that goal a few weeks before, would he think to do it or not? I don't know. Maybe I'm giving him some discredit there. Like maybe he would have went for it anyway.
And then I particularly liked how quickly we scored after the pen.
Yeah.
Also, like we're just on the ascendancy there. There was a great flick through from Joe Linton. Livramento went on. Great pass to Barnes. And then I think he's like our 6th top goal scorer now, Mark Gahey.
Yeah. He's unlucky, like really. It's one of them. Wait, can't say now about, can he?
Do you rate him, Gahey?
I did after the Euros. I think everyone did. He was really, really good, and he was a lot better than I thought he was after the Euros when I watched more of him. But I don't think he's been brilliant this season. Although Palace have done all right. I mean, obviously they're playing well and they've had some good results. So I don't know. I'm unsure, but I trust Eddie Howe. If we signed him, then I would trust him to know that he thinks he'll fit for how he wants to play. And I mean, he's not a bad player, is he? He's a good player. What do you think?
I've not seen, like, if you showed me a highlight reel of Fabian Schär or Sven Botman, I know exactly what we're getting with. Like, you see the diagonal, you see the beautiful build-up play from the outside. I thought the Euros he was good, but we didn't have a whole lot to cheer about the Euros because he just plays the same mates that he played table tennis with in the first tournament he had, Southgate.
Yeah.
And he's in the back three, and we're a much better side than everyone we're playing against. So centre-back should look good. I'd take him. I would definitely take him. I got no issue with it. There's one or two. Maybe it's more. I don't know. I'd take it. But the thing I like about him is his character.
Yeah.
Like, first off, he didn't force the move, which he could have.
Yeah.
We have the no dickhead policy at Newcastle, so their model. He seems to me like a bit of a model professional.
Yeah, that's the impression I get as well. Obviously, he's captain there, isn't he? Like I say, he didn't force it. He's captain. He's obviously a leader type. I don't know how old he is, but he's not very old, is he? You know, he's in mid-20s or something. He's obviously got a lot of years left in him and stuff. And he does seem like an Eddie Howe player in terms of English. Ticks a lot of boxes. He likes like an English core, doesn't he? I don't know. He doesn't know what to believe. Apparently, he might go back in for him, but we've also been linked with other people. So,
there's one link that I like, but I also hate at the same time. We'll get to that in the transfer talk bit. But yeah, I like Gahey. And it's just hilarious. He scored 2 own goals past us after the summer we had.
I know, typical.
And that director of football, Dougie Freedman, that turned us down, is now off to Saudis left.
Yeah, I saw that. Bit odd. Well, not odd, is it? Lots of money. Nothing good about it.
Listen, he clearly believes in the project of Al Shabaab. I don't know. I won't have his name besmirched.
Yeah. Apologies, yeah. But I mean, yeah. There's, I think, again, was just that game at Palace, it was just played really well.
The third goal from Barnes.
Yeah.
So it was on the break. Pass from Tonali, no look pass. He's looking at Isaac, slid it through diagonally to Barnes. Brilliant. And then the skill and the clinicalness of him was...
his finishing's brilliant, Barnes. Like, he's so direct. Either foot as well. He seems comfortable, doesn't he? It's not like he's on the left-hand side and he has to cut it on his right all the time. He doesn't. He scores a lot of goals with his left.
That's a fucking good finish on his left, that.
Yeah, really good. He's on fire at the minute. He's, class.
Think he's a shout for England?
He should be, shouldn't he? But he never really gets mentioned. I don't know why. Because I'm not saying any's better than the other. I think they're both different in Gordon and Barnes. And I like them both a lot. And I wouldn't want to lose any of them. But if you're talking about Gordon for England, surely you've got to talk about Barnes for England. I mean, especially on that left-hand side. Who else on the left-hand side at the minute in England is like playing any better?
No, you got a point. They're always going to... I think Foden's going to be the difficult one. They always try and fit in.
Yeah. But he's not going to play on the left anyway, is he? If he's going to play anyway, I'll not be the left.
And for Barnes, you do see he has started 5 games this season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and he was close to registering for Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because remember when Elliot Anderson almost did, and then someone clearly rang him and went, "Do not do that." You might get a call up.
Yeah, you may or may not get a call up. Don't do that. I don't know. I think he should be, though. He should at least have had a call up for friendlies and stuff, you know, to get him in the squad. There's definitely been times he's good enough.
That's when it becomes Southgate being Southgate. You know what I mean, there's a lot of people they should have just tied down immediately. So, right, you're in our pool. Can and play against fucking Macedonia in a League of Nations that no one cares about.
I mean, to be honest, I'm on about Palace as well. I like Eze. I really like Eze. I think he's a good player, apart from his penalty being atrocious. But I think I like him a lot, so I understand him getting the England squad. But got to talk about Barnes as well. Like, I mean, it's an argument for at the minute for Barnes to get in over Gordon, isn't it?
Yeah, if it continues like this.
Yeah.
And I was always gutted because I'd heard about the Wharton brothers at Blackburn for years.
Yeah.
Mainly because of searching my own name on Football Manager. And then when his name came up linked with us, which apparently he was on the radar and we went for Tonali, according to some. And then Palace is the one that snapped him. I'd had a stand-up clip about talking about Newcastle United. I'd saved like a bottle of champagne. And if Adam Wharton signed, I could have posted that stand-up clip. Wharton talks about Newcastle United on that day, and then hopefully swim in the right algorithms as opposed to me, who have never posted on social media fucking once until like this week. Check out our socials, by the way, for content. I'm in a bit of an AI wormhole. But yeah, so I was a little good at that. But he's looked fucking good.
Yeah, he has. He's again, I think Palace are a good team. I think that Wharton will end up being an England regular. He'd be our number 6, won't he?
I don't want to become like Henderson and hated.
I think he'll definitely end up being our number 6, and then for England, I think he'll get plenty of caps. He went last summer, didn't he? But just didn't play.
Yeah, I think you got like 3 minutes off the field, and apparently it was when Gordon came on that first game or second game. He went, just injecting something different, just switching up a bit. Apparently that really annoyed Southgate, and that's why he didn't play a minute the rest of the.
Yeah.
I mean, how true that is, I don't know.
I think there might be some truth in it because it was a bit odd how he didn't really get any minutes. But anyway, digress.
Yeah, and then it was a free kick just before half time.
Yeah.
Back heel to Murphy great cross, Shaw header. I always worried about offside on those ones, but just clinical, wasn't it?
Brilliant header. Made it look easy.
Fantasy land when you got that. It's just you're worried in case they're going to need to try in the second half.
I know. Yeah, I mean, that's always the worry, isn't it? If you go up by a few, that's like complacency and stuff, but I don't feel like they ever really do that.
I wasn't even worried. I was worried about my entertainment factor. Like, I wasn't even worried about complacency in the slightest. You could do your tax return and now we're going to win. Well, that's going on.
I always worry about, especially at the minute, injuries or cards and stuff. That's the only thing I start to worry about when we're being cruising. Like, it's a few games, and they're like Palace, Man U, Leicester before that stuff where we think like we're in cruise control. Don't get injured. Don't get a silly booking. Don't get a silly sending off.
Isn't that a fantastic phrase to use, cruise control, when you talk about Newcastle United?
Yeah, not very often, but
in the hunt for Champions League football in cruise control. How much are they cruising? Our manager wasn't back yet.
Yeah.
Isak missed a bunch of chances on that one and then scored the hardest.
I know. He tends to do that. I don't know if it's a mentality thing or not. Not like as a negative, just think like if he's almost being too, not complacent, but not really overthinking it when he gets the easier chances. But then the harder chances, he's almost thinking that bit more and he's more clinical. Like we've done it a few times. He's done it a few times where he's ran through, hasn't he, one-on-one with the keeper and he's like dinked it, which is quite frustrating. But it's almost like he's just took it too easy and then thought, I've scored this, isn't he, brother? And then dinks into the keeper's arms. He's like, oh well. I'll just score the hardest one later on in the match.
There's very rarely do you see him take a shot like he did against Liverpool or Arsenal in the second round when he just thunders them into the near post top corner.
Yeah.
It's always a bit more finesse than that with him, which I got no issue with because he's scoring goals at a record rate. I don't think there's a stat saying no players scored over 22 goals in a season back to back for Newcastle. So that's he's I hope he stays.
Please stay.
And
tell you else again as well, when we're talking about these matches, like how good's Tino being left back? Like it's almost like when Hall got injured and he came in left back, we're like, actually he's playing really well. And then it's almost just been forgotten about and just really like just thinking that it's a given now. We don't really think about it as much. We just think, he's playing class at left back. He's class.
of everyone, I think we have the least cover if he was to drop out now.
Yeah. He's been brilliant left back. So do you think in the summer we would buy, because we haven't really linked with any left backs, have we?
No.
But it does leave us a bit short, doesn't it? But I suppose, unless he puts Byrne left back, got Botman back, and if there's anything to happen type of thing, I don't know. I wonder what he's thinking is with that.
Yeah, you got Tripstick can double up, and Tino's the versatile one that can play both.
Yeah. I prefer Tino left back than I would swapping them around with Tribute right left back or anything.
See how that Alex Murphy kid's looking? Because if you're looking for a third choice.
Yeah. Then there's that young right back as well who's supposed to be
Matt
awesome. He's injured again, isn't he? He's injured again, isn't he? I don't know how long he's got left in his contract. But
no, he'll be on. He's with us for a while.
Yeah. I would like, I don't know if I think they would sell him if anyone would take him, but I don't think there's any takers at the minute. He can't stay fit, and he might be one of them who just stays and stays and stays till his contract eventually runs out.
I think the amount of money he's on, he passes the tier from a club that could use him, being able to get him.
Yeah.
So it'll be a loan.
Yeah,
with
possibly.
Us making some money back. But hopefully he comes back all right.
Yeah.
I mean, if Hall was great after a season on the bench, and then Usula's going to be amazing after a year on the bench, maybe his target's going to come back as Roberto Carlos. You know what I mean? Like,
imagine.
And then, unfortunately, we've got to have a quick chat about the Villa one. Were you aware by the Villa match?
Do we have to?
Mate, that was... I'd never been more... Because Villa, we got that Tonali debut where they played that high line and we absolutely rinsed them.
Yeah.
Where Eddie Howe in pre-season in America had played a stupid tactic and we got whopped.
Yeah.
And then went, no, we'll go back to 4-3-3, what we do against them.
I know. No, I was on a flight. So I knew we were playing, obviously went on the flight, got off, and I was thinking, what time is it now? Oh, do I dare check the score? So I was in the airport, checked the score, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I can't believe Man U. Went on Sky Sports, and it was like, Villa masterclass in Newcastle. I was like, oh, for God's sake, fuck off.
God, if they announced it on the tannoy, it would have been like 9-11, just like, the second goal is went in.
But, I mean, we always just seem to batter each other, don't we? It's like, we batter them, they batter us. It's happened a few times now.
We did, but I've got to kind of give props to Emery because it was a tactical masterclass from the off. They had specific game plan for against us in a way that only a few teams had. Mm-hmm. Bournemouth at home, I bring up a lot.
Yeah.
Where Bournemouth at home, their plan was man mark everyone but Dan Burn and Nick Pope and wait for them to give the ball, like they're passing, inadequacies. This one, there was a statistic where they only went down our left 12% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like aim for Kieran Trippier and Shaw, get in between those two, and it was, I think, Morgan Rogers and Watkins.
Yeah.
And it was just causing them havoc.
Yeah.
And they played deep as opposed to playing a higher line they have. They've learned that lesson. Yeah. I don't like it when teams learn their lesson against us.
No.
I like them to be surprised that we're mint and we roll over. I hate it when they're like planned and worked out how to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it, so I watched the highlights and stuff, but I wondered if maybe it was like a game too far for Tyndall, if you know what I mean. I don't know, maybe if Howe was there, it might have been a bit different. It's impossible to say, isn't it?
I don't know what pieces we could have moved around. Maybe he's dropped back deeper.
Yeah.
But then we're chasing the game anyway.
Yeah.
We went down 20 seconds into the match with an unlucky deflected goal.
Yeah.
We get the Shaw header back. I think it was Shaw header at the back. But even with it being the score it wasn't, it was a 4-1?
4-1.
4-1. They could have had 5 more.
Yeah.
As unlucky as what some of the goals were flying, they could have had 5 more. That was a performance and a half from Aston Villa, and I never want to talk about it again.
There was an almighty meltdown, but in hindsight now, when we're looking at it a couple of weeks after, it was going to come at some point, wasn't it? We were going to get beat. We're on this brilliant run. We were going to get beat at some point. Not glad it was then, but I'm happy to get it out of the way then, to then beat Ipswich at home, put it right. That was the ideal one, to be beaten, to come back, to play them, to put it right, and then now kick on again.
It's what it does to the league table is what upsets me. It's like when you're sitting in third and then you're like 6th. You're like, what? No!
I know. Yeah, it's been changing so quick, isn't it? I've lost count the amount of times I've looked at the league table and I'm trying to think, so if we get a point here, worst case, or we beat them, and then, aye.
Well, in the next section, we're going to have some fun because we're going to start making some predictions on the Champions League build-up and some transfer talk. So we'll be back soon. Unless you had anything more to say on the Villa talk. Sorry, Tom, I didn't took you off there. Your
I
opinion.
had so many more things to say about Villa, but I've just been rudely interrupted.
Your opinion is valued.
No, I don't want to talk about it. It's fine.
I was actually going to say what we could have done to win, but forget it.
Nah, fuck Villa. Doesn't matter. It's forgotten about now.
Why don't you write another song, Rick?
All right.
So moving away from the game analysis there for a little bit, let's delve in. This is always very exciting for me this time of year, and that's the transfer crack. All right, because again, growing up, Football Manager, Brevo, FIFA, it's about who you bring in, who you mould in to fit your system. So, have you got a top of your list that we've been rumoured with this?
No, I've had a little bit of a look. I was interested in the being boring, the defender side, thinking of like who being linked with. Because I know you mentioned before about Guy, and you've been linked with Kim something from Bayern Munich.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, he was absolutely class when he was at Napoli. I don't know if I think he's been playing for Bayern, but I don't know for some reason to think that they're not wanting him. They're wanting to ship him out. I think him and Dyer's been playing, believe it or not. But
do you know? I'm hoping because if we do get him, I love him for two big reasons. But
go on. No, go on.
Oh, so I think he's a good player. I think he's a very good player, and I think he's an excellent step up. But B, I want some of that Heung-min Song money in the PSR.
Yeah.
You get yourself a South Korean, and they will be over there in their droves. Do you think they fucking watched Klinsmann for fucking Nottingham Forest in the 90s?
No, so that was my thinking as well. I don't know if they ever think about things like that. Do you think, would you purely go for him for that reason, or do you think it's just a nice to have because he's a brilliant player, and then there's that side of things as well?
I think there's a reason why Son's never lost Spurs, and that's no one can replace the 500 million he brings in over a 5-year period.
Possibly.
I mean, Son's class.
Yeah.
Like, I've thought Son's been low-key one of the best players in the Premier League, which is why it's insane that he's never left Spurs.
Yeah. Big decline this season, though, I think.
A big decline all over in Spurs, but I mean, what age are you hitting? 30?
Nah, possibly. I think he's just this season. Son's like he seems to have dropped off quite a bit, hasn't he? But it could just be that the team isn't playing as well, I suppose. Might not be just necessarily.
Wants to start playing better than I sent him for military service.
Well, I was, like I say, being a bit boring at the defender side of things. I was quite excited by that Kim because he was brilliant at Napoli when they won the league, didn't they, that year?
Mm-hmm.
And I think just imagine having him as an option with Shaw, which I mean, I would like to think he'd be starting, but having Shaw as a backup and then like Byrne Botman, that's a solid defence. That'd be awesome. What are you saying?
I heard one, and it's a rumour that's resurfaced, and he was a big link for us when we were going for Botman. And like we kind of stay with players we're looking at because we wanted Botman that January, then we got him the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Nico Schlotterbeck.
Oh, yes, aye.
Yeah, from Dortmund.
Yeah.
And the thing that upsets me is the reason why he's the reason why he's linked with us is because he currently has a 6-month injury and we can get him cheaper.
Ah, okay.
So it's the idea of purchasing players whilst they're in a dip in value and then regenerating that. But I fucking hate the idea of my shiny new toy comes and I can't play with it until Christmas. And then once he's back, then he has to learn how Eddie Howe trains.
Yeah.
Then he has to. I do not like that one bit. I would take him. I think he's excellent. He's really highly rated. Metrics and all that. But the idea of getting someone we can't fucking use, I don't like.
Yeah, I must admit I'm the same. Like I like them to come in, have a summer, get like, in the swing of things with Eddie Howe. And yeah, but obviously mentioned as well, being linked with Guy, Kim, him. But I think it could easily just be like none of them. Like somebody totally right wing or like, could be anyone. I think we're that good at not disguising, but just trying to keep our cards close to our chest now.
The players we've officially we've launched a bid for, it's very exciting. So there was João Pedro we definitely went for. I think he would have been great on the right.
Yeah.
We've went for James Trafford. Mm-hmm. That was like looked into. We look at him. Who's another one? Elise.
Mm-hmm.
We whapped down money straight for him.
Yeah.
Gahey, and Alanga.
Yeah, I've been linked with Alanga again as well, haven't we? Saying that we're still admirers of him. But like we said before, I think we've discussed him before, and we saying that he looks like a Howe type of player. But I just think we're just going to get linked with everyone, aren't we? Because there's rumours that we're going to spend money this summer, so it's just going to be like just an avalanche of like players getting talked about, and I really don't know. It could be anyone. I think they're probably right in who we're rumoured to be looking at position-wise. So when they're talking about we're after a right centre-half, after a goalkeeper.
Well, that's it, isn't it? With the, when now the algorithms clicked to I only want to hear about Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's all I'll hear about. So it's I understand it, and we're probably going to do the same thing when we put content out, but you can hardly be like, headline news, Newcastle are looking to upgrade the 3 positions they haven't upgraded since the takeover.
Yeah. I think, I'll be linked with, obviously, right centre-halves. I'm not so much bothered about right-back anymore. I think right-back's pretty much solid now, the way Trippier's being played, unless he has some sort of massive drop-off. We've got that young'un coming through who's supposed to be really excited about. Discussed left-back already, haven't we, with Target. He could stay, he could go. That's probably would have to be some sort of really big injury crisis when we have unavailable kind of Hall, Tino, Trippier, and another.
Well, that kind of links into a link we had the other day. That's Wilfred Singo.
Yeah, I like his name.
Yeah, he's monster. He's a great right back, but apparently, and again, I say apparently with big inverted commas because like I just don't see Paul Mitchell saying this shit out loud, and the fact people are saying they know it makes me a little uncomfortable. But I also want to be lied to. I'd rather be told we're after these people than not. So I'm entirely complicit. But apparently Mitchell sees him as a pacey centre back, not a right back.
Yeah,
which again and I think Howe buys people so he can be loyal to his team. Mm-hmm. Like if he buys someone and goes, we're going to train him to be a centre-back, don't worry, Shaw, you've got your position. Unless you're injured. I can understand. I mean, look at the team unity they have and the cohesion, so you can understand them doing that. But I will say, every year we've had money to spend, we've went after way bigger players than we thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
Like, no one saw Tonali coming.
No.
We thought he was just good there for life, or a big money move to,
Well, we were massively linked with, I don't know if it came out that we bid from the Inter Milan midfielder first, wasn't it? It was like nailed on, we were meant to be getting him, and then Tonali was from nowhere. It was almost like a very, like, on purpose bluff to say that we're going for the Inter Milan midfielder, and then got Tonali. So it was weird.
Well, we did again. Nico Barella is up there with Tonali.
Yeah.
If we were to get Nico Barella, I mean, we may go back in for Nico Barella. Yeah. Which that is a level of ambition that is through the goddamn roof.
Yeah.
It's players that you just can't fathom.
Yeah,
coming. Isak is another one. Isak wasn't an unknown player.
No, I think it's a case of like we're probably after loads of players. We'll probably have a list of players, but elite ones, especially if we can get in the Champions League, and then it just comes down to price, isn't it? I think they'll be trying to get as much as they can for best price. I don't think we'll want to get our eyes taken out for paying 100 million for a player. I think we'll go for someone who's, I see us paying 50s, 60s and stuff, but I think it'll be, even if we do go for someone like that Singo who's younger, so if we're talking about Kim from Bayern Munich, if he's going to cost 50 million, 60 million, we might go for that Singo if he's going to cost less, because they don't seem to mind bringing in a younger player and training them up and giving them time. They don't need someone necessarily to come straight in and hit the ground running immediately. It's just more about numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
numbers and raising the ceiling eventually.
Yeah.
But I think we will be linked with like one exciting player. I've got a theory on, what you're saying with Barella and Tonali.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because it scuppers the theory when Eddie Howe said he fell in love with Tonali through the scouting reports and things like that.
Yeah.
But my idea very quickly after was we were after Barella, or it was Dan Ashworth doing his Game of Thrones tactic of I'll tell you this, I'll tell you that, and I'll find out where the leak comes from, because they plugged all the transfer leaks very quickly after that one.
Yeah.
So we were after Barella, and then they're rebuffing because Barella's like a the gem of that Inter Milan midfield, and they hold on to their players pretty strongly. And AC Milan got wind of a betting scandal and went, "Are you looking for midfielders? Because you can have Sandro Tonali for 55 million, which is a fucking steal at his age."
Oh, he's worth double now.
I think he was worth double then.
Yeah.
So did they see that coming and be like, offload quick before this? And Dan Ashworth's literally in Milan trying to buy a tenacious midfielder?
I think so. I think they must have known about it. Or they must have had some sort of inkling about it and thought, well, whether they knew it was going on and didn't know it was getting investigated and just thought, we'll kind of move him on.
I've seen the documentaries about the dodgy Italian chairmans and how they treat referees and how they have insiders and stuff and that. And the Gomorrah bought Maradona, like the mafia bought Maradona for Napoli. Like, that shit's all still there. You don't fuck around if you play for Napoli.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're telling me that they don't know in a month's time there's a case being put together?
Yeah.
Like,
nah, it was the speed of which it came out afterwards as well, wasn't it? It wasn't like a year later down the line that it came out. It was like, 2 months later.
It's like maximum. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, obviously Gordon was linked with a move last year, wasn't he? If you got a bid from this year, would you sell him? Just with how Barnes is playing now? And
this is going to be interesting because we've never known what we're like as sellers, as a club.
Yeah.
Like, just say Arsenal comes 85 million for Isak. Like, the club says has to be resolute.
Yeah.
We've been treated like shit by so many clubs we're bidding with.
Yeah.
And raising prices. Look at from Jesse Lingard during the first transfer window, all the way fucking up to Mark Gahey in the last one. That was ludicrous the way they were talking to us.
I know. I think there is an element of us against the world and pretty hard done by type of thing. I think we're obviously vulnerable last year, weren't we, for the PSR thing? So we had to just do what we could.
I would love to do that to some clubs, though.
Yeah.
I would love it if we have a sheet and be like, Forest need this or Villa.
Yeah. I think it could happen.
Like a Conser.
Could happen.
Do you know what I mean? That looks like an Eddie Howe player to me. Someone like Conser or Villa just need to keep refreshing their squad because they're spending so much on it.
Yeah, could happen. I think it could. It sounds like, obviously we don't know the ins and outs, but it sounds like we're in a good position now. And
they have to tell us that. If they tell us we can't spend due to PSR, it'll become like the Ashley days. Do you know what I mean? Not like in terms of what the club's like, but in terms of our optimism and ambition. You can't. That's fucking ridiculous.
I'm just thinking now, hypothetically, if we're in a really good position now, PSR, and we could spend, say we qualify for Champions League and we can spend in theory 200 million. If someone came in for Gordon for 80 million, 100 million, that would be insane how much we could spend. Like, do you know what I mean? I know it's hypothetical and I know it doesn't always work like that. And then who would you replace him with as well? But like, I don't know. Because like we've never had, and we've mentioned before, we've never had that like sell like Villa did with Grealish. You know what I mean? Where it like just opens everything up.
Yeah, we've just clung on. Because I honestly think if we had Elliot Anderson and Yakuba Minter this year, we might be in the title challenge.
Yeah. I love Anderson, to be fair. I think he would have got a lot of minutes, but obviously the way the three of them's been playing, I think Tonali, Bruno and Joe Linton would have been first choice still. Minter looks good. He's still a bit hit and miss, I think, isn't he? But he does look good. I think he would have definitely played a lot.
Yeah, he's an out-and-out right winger, cutting it on the left. Yeah. And I think the way Eddie Howe improves people.
Yeah.
So from what he looks like now.
Yeah, I think...
but I'd be excited for that Kim Min-jae. I would like him.
I would like him. And I read that I was quite... It sounds a bit boring for a centre-half being excited about a signing, but I think he's class. Imagine him and Botman. Although I wouldn't like to drop Burn. But
that is...
We're going to have to bite the bullet one day, I think. And
one day, I'm hoping Sunday.
Aye. Well, I'd like to hope that we're going to, really go for it this summer. Like, and about other people suffering PSR, I hope they do. And I hope we can kick them when they're down. Hopefully we don't have that problem now.
I want the minute is if it's this account or if it counts as after, we can check out, we mobilize and we literally just go and throw money into the stack.
Yeah.
Like, we all just go with like 100 quid each and just slam it through the door. Feed the homeless. All right? You can feed the homeless in Newcastle and boost our PSR. Right? All you do, go and buy all the food the Stack have, give it to homeless people.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. Are you listening? Yes, sir. I'm talking to you, yes, sir. Just
do it.
you.
Just do it.
Take the credit card.
Just think of the right winger.
No, you're very liberal. You're very Take the credit card, go and buy all the chicken nuggets you can in Stack. Just give it to the homeless. Give it to schools. It's a feasible way. And if you've got the World Cup in 2030, which I've heard is a funny way, the way you got that. If you've got the World Cup in 2030, you want the Newcastle to be the top club in the world. It's that way to pump money in. They can't chase it. They can't stop it. Newcastle will drink their way to the Champions League final. We promise you.
Yeah. Now, the other one I saw as well for centre house was that Houston as well, but I can't even for a second think he's coming anywhere near us. Not for anything other than the fact that I think he'll go to Real Madrid or someone like I said before.
I think Chelsea now.
Nah, I hope he doesn't go to Chelsea.
I think Chelsea have done so bad, they're gonna chuck money at everything.
Yeah, maybe. Surely they've got to be somewhere near for pretty PSR.
They can't. They've fiddled it.
Scumbags. I seen all the. There's been a few youngsters that were signed, isn't there? That Turkish lad that went through last week, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
I hope some of these turned out to be absolute worldies, because that Georgian lad wasn't the last season was signed.
I think he was this season Georgian, but he hadn't turned 18 yet. There's a Turkish
guy. Bildaz or something. Yeah, he's just signed. I think he went through a few. I think he had to probably pay a compensation thing or something like that.
I'm trying not to get attached to these.
Yeah,
the way I have, because I've been burnt twice now by Yankuba Minter leaving. I couldn't believe he was sold.
I know. I was gutted about that.
And also, do you remember the Whisper? Duvon Johnson?
Yes.
Dejan Johnson, I think it was called.
This is to crack us up calling them the Whisper.
Oh, the Whisper. I was devastated we lost the Whisper. He was on he was in the training ground. He was looking at the digs. Off to fucking Chelsea he went.
We're just linked with everyone now, though, especially youngster-wise. I think there was another Irish lad was signed not long ago as well, the January. He's meant to
Heffernan?
be... No, there was...
From Blackburn?
There was another one,
Finneran?
I think. Might have been Finneran, yeah. They've got a few Irish lads coming in who they're excited about. There's a Scottish lad who signed from Rangers.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's another lad that he's got apparently loads of potential and supposed to be really good. But some of them is just... I seen us link the other day with the next Somalian Lionel Messi or something. It's just getting ridiculous now. Everybody we're linked with.
He's either the Somalian Lionel Messi or the Brazilian Rick Wharton.
One or the other.
He has no coordination and he doesn't want to try hard.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens, I suppose. I just hope we do have money to spend. They're never going to tell us, but I just hope we do.
I understand why they don't. I just want to know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They're never going to come out and say, yeah, we've got 200 million to spend.
Can we buy this guy?
We're going to blow the lot.
199 million. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so.
Who the fuck's Eels been talking to now? All right, looking at the weekend. You got any more transfer crack?
I thought you were going to turn it off.
I was going to turn it off, but I thought, yes, ask Tom.
No, I'm done. Are you turned off there?
Was the time on yours?
Are you paused or stopped it?
Well, stopped it.
I was going to say.
Okay then, so looking ahead to Sunday's fixture with Brighton, this week has been a time warp for the month of Newcastle United.
Yeah.
How much has happened and how are we here now, sat third in the league, heading down to the Amex?
What do I think?
I don't like the Amex.
I know, we haven't got a very good record there, have we?
We play like we've just got off the bus every time we play at the Amex.
Yeah. It's as if they make us do a 400-mile round trip twice just to get there, and then I don't know. I keep, like saying before, worrying about a bad record there, how we're going to do, but then I also think we should be well up for it. We can go there and win. We definitely can. So, how do you feel?
I think having Eddie Howe's back is massive.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's fully fit, because he definitely wasn't ready to return to work after pneumonia after a week and a half.
He didn't look well against Ipswich, I don't think.
So maybe some South Coast sun, that'll do him some good, him and Tyndall getting bronze. But, mate, Brighton haven't looked great this year.
No, they've been very hit and miss, haven't they?
I watched the final 5 against West Ham, and they were close to losing against a very poor West Ham team.
Yeah.
Did you see, I think it was the match before, but we're not going to do a manager watch because this episode's already running way too long, but first obviously Nicholas Fulkrug for West Ham.
Yeah, seen his interview.
He said, that was fucking shit.
Yeah, basically was shite.
But then after that, so that was the match before, and obviously every reporter now is on Graham Potter, being like, so what did you think Nicholas Fulkrug thought of that? And like, Potter is always like meek-mannered, but he has been treated so poorly since leaving Brighton.
Yeah.
Like, he was the darling of everyone, the tactician. He's working through these youngsters, and since there's been 2 managers at Brighton since doing the exact same thing he did, it's kind of null and void. And Chelsea, they slaughtered him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he sat there, and what's it he says? He's like, "What, do you want me to swear? Because I can."
Yeah, I was having under that.
I can look at positives, but you don't want positives, do you?
Do you want me to swear? I can blooming well smell, I can swear if you want, you sponge.
Oh, flip off.
Yeah. It was. He's another one who seems to have gone off the boil a bit, didn't he?
Me meant if he swore, but like not within context. You want me to swear? Boobs.
Yeah. Like, he's never done it before. I know swear words.
But that last minute goal from Balaba, I think he's going to be the next Moise Caicedo that looks worth a huge signing to Chelsea or someone in the future. He looks.
Aye. He was linked with some clubs last year, wasn't
he? Yeah, I think it was Lille he came from. Good player, him.
Brighton just seem to enjoy playing against us, don't they? They always seem to play well. Obviously, they beat us at home the other week, so we owe them one when they knocked us out of the cup.
Well, they beat us twice at home.
Yeah.
But they didn't look great in either one.
Nah.
They were off days for us. I mean, obviously, the other team can cause an off day, but...
Yeah, I'm quite confident to get a result. I mean, I don't think a draw will be the end of the world. Obviously, a win will be brilliant. To then follow on to having Chelsea at home, it's in our own hands, isn't it?
What worries me, it's not what worries me, I just know what I'm like, right? Because if we lose, we can drop to 5th or 6th. I think it's 5th. No, 6th.
Well, yeah, depending on the result, yeah.
And it's just going from 3rd. I know the Champions League is up to 5.
Yeah.
But I just want to maintain that course.
Yeah.
I'm desperate too.
That's why I think, looking at it, even a draw by the end of the world, because if we draw, I keep disregarding Man City because I just feel like they're going to finish 3rd no matter what. But if we draw, we're on 63 points. Our goal difference is, slightly better than Chelsea. It's a lot better than Forest and a hell of a lot better than Villa. And Villa are obviously a few more points back. So even if we drew at the weekend, Chelsea would need to win and by a couple of goals at least to be able to leapfrog us.
I'll tell you why I don't think that's going to happen. And I literally heard it today, and I'll quote the point. It's the NUFC blogcast, because they chucked out these stats the other day, and I think it's worth. Excellent podcast, check it out. But it's very applicable. Can you tell us when the last time Newcastle drew?
December.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was. Liverpool was it?
3-3. And the other stat they said that was fantastic is we've won 26 out of the last 20.
Yeah, I saw that.
And if we maintain that consistency for a season...
Hold on, won 26 out of the last 20?
Yeah, we're doing mint.
That's some good.
No one can catch us. It's amazing we're 3rd. Fucking VAR. But, so we've won the 20 out of 26. And that's getting edited. I'm not being punked out by you.
Apologies.
Tom, stop doing the PK humble on the desk. But no, if we maintain that level through 38 games, if we've done that from the start, we would currently be on 87 points, which is 7 more points than Liverpool currently are.
Yeah.
We have the most wins other than Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I know.
And it hasn't even felt like that great until the second half. It hasn't felt like a great season at times.
Nah, I don't know. when I heard that stat about obviously won more than anybody else by Liverpool, it was ridiculous, really. Because up until really, I mean, December we were all right. January it started to pick up, didn't we? And that long run of games, 11 unbeaten or something, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we still felt like it was like, oh, we're having an okay season. But this is an unbelievable season. This could be like the best season we've ever had in the Premier League.
And Cups.
Yeah. I mean, there's an argument, what's the better achievement? But for me, this season has got to be the best season in the Premier League. If we finish in the Champions League, no matter where it is, and we've won the Cup, that is an unbelievable season.
It's about unlocking, evolving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why it's stressful. Be like, this team's great, we'll get it next year if not.
Yeah.
But since there's now these restraints to go, no, if you're not playing in this cup competition, you're not allowed to buy better players.
Yeah, basically. So, that's why I'm confident we'll get a result. I know what you're saying about the draws. It seem to be either say it's a win or a loss, isn't it? Don't seem to draw many, but I really, really hope if we can go down there and win this weekend.
I'm confident.
That's another massive statement. That Ipswich at home was hard because it was expected. It was so heavily expected. It was a massive pressure to do it. Brighton, I think, would be the favourites to win it, but hopefully we'll just go down there, prove a point, put our stamp on it even more, really, because our position is unbelievable, really.
I'm not expecting a win, but I also said that before PSG and before the League Cup final, I didn't see it happening at all.
Yeah.
So if I've had any kind of influence on the place.
And take credit for it. Yeah, I mean, even a point, I think, would be okay, like I say, because of the goal difference. And Chelsea have got Liverpool this weekend, even though I'm hoping Liverpool don't have a hangover from winning the league. But I'd like to think they would just want to plough on now because they want to get as many points as they can, don't they?
It worries me.
It does, because Chelsea are at home as well.
I don't like... It's that point of the season when there's teams with nothing to play for.
Yeah.
And Liverpool's now just this. If it was last week,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If Liverpool beat Chelsea, they win the league.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking mint for us this weekend.
Yeah.
But now it's, we've all got our new contracts. We're all danced on the field singing Jurgen Klopp's name for our new weird, bald manager.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument because, Villa's playing Fulham. City's playing Wolves, but again, I keep disregarding City. I think they'll get in anyway.
Yeah,
but there's
City
there's an element of Fulham being a harder opponent than Liverpool at the minute. Just Fulham's still going all right, aren't they? And I think they could probably still make Europe just.
Yeah, they could sneak in the conference sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're still going to be up for it. I don't know. It's so hard to predict. I didn't see Forest getting beat yesterday. Did not see Forest getting beat off Brentford. Not because Brentford aren't a good team, because they are, and they've been brilliant away from home. I just thought Forest would have ploughed on, got a result. It's
the way that if there was a stat last night, which was pretty telling, which they're going to have to get better at, is they're second bottom of the league in points from losing positions.
Right.
So if they concede first or go down, they don't win.
Yeah. And whereas we are, if we score first, we tend to keep it, don't we?
I mean, that game with them was like 5-4 or something. We were hanging on by a thread towards the end. But
yeah.
So 2 defensive errors knocked them last night. You can tell stress is getting to them. They've won 1 out of their last 6. I think they might be dropping off.
I know. It's a shame as well because I really, along with us, wanted them to get in the Champions League. I don't want Chelsea in it because I just hate Chelsea. I don't mind City getting in, even though it'd be funny if they dropped out.
Do you know what? This is the way I want us to drop to 6th. And then Chelsea and Man City to be docked points. And the fact that we sold Minter and Elliot Anderson gets us Champions League football, I would love that. I would fucking love that.
Smugly walking into third like a teacher's pet. Well, you didn't follow the rules. I did.
And if I'm being ruthless, Forest have a lot of players I would quite like at Newcastle. So I want Forest and Villa to not make Champions League, need to sell, and we can rinse up some of those.
Yeah. Oh, I really, really don't want Villa to make Champions League, just because I think I've said before. I think they're just kind of like Newcastle the year previous. I mean, they've done well, but I just don't like the arrogance. The arrogance of just we've done well in the Champions League and we're going to get in again. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams battling for it. There's nobody can say comfortably that they're going to qualify apart from a Liverpool.
All right. So I'll tell you what, if we both say that City is definitely going to get in.
Yeah.
So let's get your predictions on Newcastle's last 4 games. So we'll start with Brighton. Don't need a correct score. We're not going to be that clairvoyant.
Okay. I'm going to say that we're going to go down there and win.
3. All right, then we've got Chelsea the week after. Total 6-pointer. Could be the most crucial one out of the lot, given if the other results go well.
We're going to
Win.
This is where this comes back to bite me in the arse, isn't it? We get beat on Sunday and there's an absolute almighty meltdown.
All right.
Just crying on the podcast next week.
Arsenal away.
I don't think we'll get anything.
Yeah.
Although it's dependent if they're still in the Champions League, they could change things, I suppose. But at the minute, I'd have us down as not getting anything for that one.
I think they're waiting for us.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to be well up for that, and I feel like they probably owe us one, and yeah.
All right, Arsenal away, and then last game of the season, Everton at home.
Got to be a win in it. The thing is, I think I keep going back to this typical Newcastle thing. I can see us dropping points somewhere. I think we'll probably drop points at Arsenal. I could see us like dropping points at even one of our home games. To be honest, I'm going to stick my neck out and say we'll win. But I think as well, I've said before, I think if we won when we had 5 games remaining, including Ipswich, if we won our 3 home games, we'll be okay. So we won 1. So if we can win the other 2, I think regardless of Brighton and Arsenal, I think should get in.
I hope Everton's a good result. I mean, I'm obviously aiming for Champions League.
Yeah.
But if we were in the race for Champions League and then lose to Everton,
yeah,
I just hate the idea of that lap of honour of everyone being disappointed while the fucking kids are walking around the field with them.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your predictions?
For us, okay, so you're predicting 9 points. I think the same, but I'm going to say we win Arsenal away, lose Brighton.
Okay.
So I'm going...
Same number of points.
9 points.
Wow. If we beat Arsenal, I think Arteta might just explode. But it depends if they're in Champions League still. If they overturn the first leg against PSG and they're in the final, they'll not be asked, will they?
All right, so check this out for Chelsea. Chelsea-Liverpool.
I don't know, because Liverpool are out of everything now, aren't they? They've won the league. That's everything's done and dusted.
Yeah.
It's whether they've got the appetite to get as many points as they can and try and pull away even further, seeing as Arsenal have stuttered a bit more and stuff. So I'd like to think I'm going to go for a draw. I think there. I hope Chelsea drop points.
Right, now, very, very happy to read that they have a midweek game, but I think they're like 4-1 up on aggregate. They're playing 15-year-olds or something last night.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what that'll do with their squad depth. Where it fucking
to
comes
be fair, though, I think the Europa League, they've been playing like a separate squad, haven't they, almost, for most of the games. So they'll probably do the same again.
So midweek game, then us, and you're saying we lose?
We lose.
They lose?
They lose, yeah.
Then they have Man United.
Is that away?
Not sure.
Okay. I've got a feeling that's away, but I can't remember. But I think Chelsea will beat Man U. Again, I'll be hoping for Man U to turn up and spring a surprise, but I doubt it.
And then last game of the season, they got Forest.
I thought they had Forest, yeah. Is that at the City ground, or is that... I can't remember. I have to quickly Google that one. 17th. Is that the last game of the weekend? No, it's the weekend after, isn't it? I'm sure they are... Let's have a look. Right, so last game of the season, yeah, Chelsea's away. Ooh, I would say... it depends what happens in the meantime with Forest, doesn't it? If Forest still got a chance of getting Champions League at home against Chelsea, I fancy Forest.
Would you like to hear their fixtures so you can have an informed decision? So they have Palace, Leicester, West Ham.
Oh. Before last night's result, I would say they get 9 points from them, just about. I think Forest will still be in with a shout for Champions League going at the last game. So I'm going to say Forest going to beat Chelsea then, the last game of the season.
So in total, Chelsea are going to end up with 4 more points on that one. I think they beat Liverpool. I think that's going to upset us massively.
What's your predictions for Chelsea?
I think they beat Liverpool. I think they lose against us. And I think they beat Forest last game of the season.
Oh.
They beat Man U.
That's a given. Forest's games. What do you reckon for Forest then?
Win 3, lose 1. Lose against Chelsea in the season. win the other three.
I think they'll lose one of the other three, but they'll beat Chelsea.
Do you know what? Here's what's terrifying here. Not terrifying, obviously, but
Absolutely petrifying.
We're on TikTok now. We've got to start every video with "I'm terrified by this. Listen to my video past 5 fucking seconds. Are you watching, China? Are you watching?" Every one we've looked at now, I've predicted to get 9 points.
Oh dear.
And
It'll not be like, it'll be completely different to what we like.
so, last but not least, Villa. All right, so Villa have. So if we quick fire this, Villa v Fulham.
I think Villa beat them.
3 points. Villa v Bournemouth. Tough one.
That's at Bournemouth as well, isn't it?
Mm.
I think draw.
And then they've got the two teams that will be hanging fire for a fucking final to slither into the Champions League. They've got Spurs, then Man U.
Have they? Though again, it depends on Europa, doesn't it? Because they'll just be
Waiting.
totally like disregarding these fixtures by the end if they're both in the final, because they're both
I've got a
desperate.
feeling Amarin did for us for the second leg of Leon.
Yeah, potentially. They're both desperate to get in that final and win. So,
6 points.
yeah, but that means I'm saying Villa's going to win 3 and draw one of the last. Is that right? Of the last 4, but that's some run as well, though. So I don't know if they'll do that. Might drop more points at Bournemouth, maybe.
Well, it's lucky we've got that gap, and we're nailed on for a 9-pointer according to the Wartoon board.
I see. It's impossible. I didn't have Forest down to get beat off Brentford, but they did. So there's going to be like twists and turns, and it wouldn't surprise if we play and got beat against Brighton, and then it's going to be hard. The main thing is we'll put ourselves in a position where it's down to us, so we don't have to worry really about anybody else. But it's going to be hard.
Every team is playing 2 teams that still have something to play for.
Yeah.
Or take. We haven't looked at City, but we're assuming City are in there.
I think City will get in all right. They've got too much, haven't they? Anyone can kind of beat anyone. It's really, there's no easy games, is there? I'm really, really pleased Eddie Howe's back. Like you're saying, that's one of the big ones for me.
I'm really pleased Sven Botman's back.
He's in the squad, isn't he?
Game on against Ipswich.
I'm worried about Joe Linton, like. Although he's backtracked a bit today, hasn't he? You've seen his press conference today.
What?
Eddie Howe. So he's saying Joe Linton is being advised to kind of sit out the season, but knowing Joe Linton, he'll not want to. So that's almost, for me, as if like you probably miss Brighton, but then maybe like make him power through like Chelsea if we need that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because it's not a new issue. He says it's the same knee issue he's had problems with all year. And he hasn't done anything as such. He's been advised to rest, which is all well and good. But if you can rest him for a couple of weeks or 1 week, and we've got 2 big games.
Chelsea and thingy.
Yeah. Is he going to bring him in for them, or I don't know. Or is it just mind games, a bit of a ploy? I don't know.
I can imagine hearing that comment. Paul Bunce has just spat his coffee all over his laptop. What the fuck do you mean he might play?
Yeah. I said categorically he can't play. Who would you have in instead? Willock?
Nah, I like Willock, but I don't see him having great form at the minute. And I'm always about the new shiny toy. I know that's my personality. Yeah. I want Miley in there. I think Miley looks great. Give him the game time.
I know. I'm undecided. I'm tempted to say stick with Willock. I do like Willock, even though he hasn't played well lately. I feel like he's got performance in him. He's one of them where when he does play well, he can change the game.
Well, that's why I'd rather have him as an impact.
Yeah.
If Miley's not having a good and bring the legs of Willock on, run around, but he is good in that. We've got a very strong core now, which is fantastic, and it's awesome that we're at this point of the season and we have shit to be anxious and excited about.
Yeah.
And also, if we don't make Champions League, we're guaranteed Europe no matter what, whether it's Europa or the conference. And we are going to invest whether or not we have Champions League or not. The only thing they're saying is, I mean, again, someone has to break the bank for Isak. They've got to do any player they want, they've got to break the bank for, and we invest very well.
Yeah.
So it's just a awesomely weird, new, nervous, joyful time to be a Newcastle fan.
Nervous, yeah. So who are you putting down as getting Champions League then?
Us, City. Oh, 1 second.
Obviously, Liverpool and Arsenal's a given. Liverpool, Arsenal, us, City. Who else do you think? Unless you're saying that we're not going to get him.
I'm looking at it like it stays kind of how it is.
Okay.
So that's, I think, Villa missing out.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I think Villa might pip Forest, but it'll be us. I'd love Arsenal to drop out. Is that possible?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, they could, but I don't think they will.
Us, City.
I mean, Chelsea's still in there at the minute, aren't they? So it's Forest and Villa missing out at the minute. But Forest and Chelsea's on the same number of points. But Chelsea and us have got very similar goal difference if it comes down to that. Forest a bit further behind and Villa miles away goal difference-wise, but they're also 5 points behind us.
Yeah, I got a feeling Forest get fucked.
Be a shame, like. But I think the 5 will be the 5 it is now, like. I think Villa and Forest will miss out.
We'll keep track of that. We'll also, for next week, check out what our house band YAI man think the final scores are going to be. They've got some pretty strong opinions. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in this week. Check us out on all social media platforms. I have went insane trying to create content that will start going out this week and playing us out again. It's our special song for Eddie Howe from the house band YAI Man. Tom, thanks for being here.
Thank you. See you soon.
I led the lads, we won the cup. Wembley roars, we lifted it up. Dan Burns' head, I sacked to a strike. Beat Liverpool, oh what a night. Then pneumonia hit, I was laid low. Hospital bed, but the fire still glowed. Jason Tyndall took the reins with might. Smashed Man U and Palace outright. 70 years, the drought's now done. Tsunami sings, we've only begun. Chasing my mates, you held the line. Now I'm back and the tune's still mine. Back in the tsunami crew, left trying to come on, now I'm slicing on too. It's Bruno Botman, never gonna move, I'm back. Trying to protection food, I'm back in the tsunami groove. Got Gordon, Joel and tearing it loose. I'm back in the tsunami groove. The bus parade rolled through the tube. Black and white flags under the moon. Anton Deck led the chants with pride. The Geordie faithful right by her side. Sandro Tonali's boss in the game. Longstaff's local, he's earning his fame. If they want a quick game, let's bring cover to them. Valentino's pace, what's up St. James' Shem. I'm back in the tsunami groove. I'm trying to get your run at my station on two. It's triple in his prices, and never gonna lose. I'm back. It's got the Jackson Blues. I'm back in the tsunami groove. Back in the tsunami groove, that gleich was name. With Heal and Tour, back and go in the tsunami groove. Ripping a crowd, come back in the tsunami groove. I'm back in the tsunami. The lease is end, we're never gonna move. I'm back in the tsunami groove.